It's day 15! You made it a week? Yes. It's day 15 geometry, and we are looking at special right triangles and leaving our answers in simplest radical form. I know you guys loved this when we did it in class. All right, so we're going to look at special right triangles. These are 45, 45, 90 triangles like we have right here, and 30, 60, 90 triangles like we have right here. And we had certain rules that apply to each one. In a 45, 45, 90, the legs are the same. The hypotenuse, which is directly across from the right angle, is always whatever your leg measurement is times the square root of 2. Now in a 30, 60, 90, we have our short leg, and it's opposite my 30-degree angle. There's my hypotenuse, which is always 2 times whatever the short leg is. And then we have our long leg, which is my short leg times the square root of 3. So let's look at our example right here. We have a 45, 45, 90. This is a right triangle. If this is 45 degrees, I know this has to be 45 degrees. And this is my hypotenuse at B. I'm not going to worry about it right now though, because I need to figure out what A is. Now in a 45, 45, 90, both the legs are the same. So I know if this leg is 2 square root of 2, then leg A also has to be 2 square root of 2. Now if I'm looking at B, B is whatever my leg is times the square root of 2. So I'm doing 2 square root of 2 times the square root of 2. Now, whenever I'm multiplying that out, you can type it in your calculator, that's fine. If you type in 2 square root of 2 times the square root of 2, it's going to tell you the answer is 4, which makes sense because if I multiply these, square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So there are my hypotenuse and leg measurements. Okay, so here's another example for a 45, 45, 90. For this one, I'm given my hypotenuse length. My hypotenuse length is 2 square root of 6. So I know to go from leg to hypotenuse, I multiply by the square root of 2. So it makes sense that if I'm going from hypotenuse to leg, I'm going to divide by the square root of 2. So 2 square root of 6 divided by the square root of 2. Now whenever I divide this out, I'm dividing my square roots right here. Okay, so 6 divided by 2 is going to leave me with the square root of 3. So that's x, but it's also y, because in a 45, 45, 90, those two measurements are the same. Okay, so here's my first 30, 60, 90. We're going to be using this diagram right here. If I look at this problem, my hypotenuse is right here. It's across from my right angle. And my 2 is my short leg. Okay, it's across from the 30 degrees. It's my shorter leg. So it's just 2. Guess I could label those X and Y. So if I look at my diagram up here, if I'm given the short leg, then to get my hypotenuse, I'm just multiplying whatever my short leg is times 2. So my hypotenuse here would be whatever my short leg is times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then if I'm looking for my long leg, I'm taking whatever my short leg is times the square root of 3. Well, if my short leg is 2, then my long leg is just my short leg times the square root of 3. Okay, on this last example, don't let the orientation of the triangle throw you off. Okay, still pay attention to where your angles are, where your right angle is. My right angle is right here, so I know across from it is my hypotenuse. My short leg is across from my 30-degree angle, so here's my 30 degrees. So A is my short leg, which means B is my long leg. Okay, so let's look at my short leg first. In our diagram up here, my short leg, to get to my hypotenuse, we multiply by 2. So it makes sense that if I know what my hypotenuse is and I'm looking for the length of my short leg, I'm going to divide by 2. So I'm going to take my hypotenuse length here, 8 square root of 5, and I'm going to divide it by 2. Okay? Oh, excuse me. So 8 divided by 2 is 4 square root of 5. So there is my answer for A. A is 4 square root of 5. And if it helps you, write that in right here. It's okay to do that. So my short leg is 4 square root of 5. So now if I'm looking for my long leg, if I know what my short leg is, to get to my long leg, I'm multiplying by the square root of 3. So to find B, I'm going to take 4 square root of 5, which is my short side, and I'm going to multiply it by the square root of 3. I'm going to multiply these two radicals right here to get 4 square root of 15. Now, square root of 15 doesn't simplify. There's not any perfect squares that will go into 15, so I can just leave it as 4 square root of 15.